Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today we're going to present Uruf and its role in Ahkam of Shari'ah, which is in Principle of Jurisprudence. My name is Muhammad Riz.Reizal bin Abdullah. My ID is 22B1006. This is my colleague.
My name is Muhammad Aiman bin Abdullah, and I'm 22B0501. My ID is 22B0905. My name is Muhammad Rizal bin Sarfuddin. My ID is 22B0815.
Okay, next slide, sir. Okay. Okay, today the table of content for our Uruf and its role is we're going to talk about the definition of Uruf, the classification of Uruf, the condition, the basis, the difference between Uruf and Ada, difference between Uruf and consensus of juris, and we're going to also talk about the application of Uruf in Islamic law and legal maxim. Okay. Based on the research that we taken, Uruf is a noun whose Arabic origin is from Arafah, it means that to know. Literally, Uruf means custom. It is what it means by custom is like what we do daily as a practice, daily practices. Technically, reoccurring practices which are acceptable to the people of sound nature. Some practices which are practiced by some people or society and become accustomed to doing it. According to Lisan al-Arab, the terms Uruf, Irfan, and Arifah all refers to the same thing. For instance, anything that the community recognizes as good, as opposed to bad, which is munkar, or any effort you make that voice or deed to assist others. Okay, and the second one, according to Yusuf Karhawi, Uruf is something that becomes a tradition and norm in people's life. Okay, so that they can know him well and get used to it, both in a form of words and deeds, general and specific. Okay. There are three types of Uruf, which is the verbal custom, general custom, and the valid custom. Okay, for the verbal custom, it is also known as Uruf al-Qawli, and the practical custom, which is Uruf Amali. For the second one, the general custom, Uruf al-Am, and the particular custom, Uruf al-Khas, and lastly is the valid custom, which is Uruf al-Sahih, and invalid custom, which is Uruf al-Fasid. Okay, this is just the definition for each of the custom that is stated in the previous slide. Okay, for verbal custom, consists of general agreement of the people on the usage and the meaning of the words for purposes other than their literal meaning. For example, the word salah literally means al-du'a or request. However, it has been used in the Quran to describe the obligatory prayers of Muslim, and this second usage eventually become a predominant example, walad, lahma, and etc. Whereas for the practical Uruf, consists of common recurrent practices of the people in daily lives. For example, taking vacation on a certain days and civil transaction like a bay or bay al ta'ti. Okay? You understand now? Valid custom means that Uruf which does not contradict with the Shari'ah or deny any interest of the people, at the same time does not bring corruption. So basically, it is comply with the Shari'ah law. It does not contradict or go against the Shari'ah. Okay? Whereas invalid Uruf, against principle of Shari'ah, or it denies the interest of the people, or it brings corruption. For example, the practice of usury or riba in the transaction, although it is common among the people, it is against the Shari'ah, therefore transactions are invalid and must be avoided. So my colleague will be explaining the next slide, which is the condition of uruf. As you can see here, will be presented by Muhammad Adel. Okay, you may take the stage.
So the condition of uruf is first one, Muslim scholars have specified the requirement that must be met for the customary practice to be accepted as valid uruf. In addition to be reasonable, acceptable, and having a good integrity, uruf must meet the following criteria in order to be considered authoritative. The condition for the uruf of validity, the first one is the uruf cannot conflict with the Nas al-Quran text or fundamental tenet of Islamic law. The second one, in the majority of cases, uruf must be ongoing and pervasive. The application of that uruf by a select of few people or by a small group of people within a sizable community will not be regarded as authoritative. The third is, it is necessary to confirm the existence of uruf, that is custom, at the time of the transaction. For example, even if it is not stated in the price of an item related to the current exchange rate that is known to both parties. Now we will be move on to the basis, which is the hujjah. The first one is Al-Quran. Keep to forgiveness, enjoin uruf, and turn away from the ignorant. Surah Al-A'raf, chapter 19, verse 99. Many mufassirun claim that the word uruf in this sentence was similar to the word ma'ruf, which signifies everything that is good. Therefore, when making legal decision, the custom of the populace will be taken into account. Al-Quran also used some of the early Arab communities uruf as a legal foundation for its law. The Quran has sanctioned, for example, the diyat principle that was followed in early society. The second is from Hadith. According to Aisha radiallahu anhu, the wife of Abu Sufyan and the daughter of Uthbah approached Allah's Messenger and declared, Abu Sufyan is a miserly person. He doesn't provide me and my children with enough support. But I can steal from his riches or at least a portion of them without his awareness. Do I have any sins? The Prophet ﷺ then said, take from his property that which is customary, sufficient from you and your children. Some Sunnah commentators claim that this hadith demonstrates that this significance of custom and that it should be relied upon when Shari'ah specifies. So the third one is the consensus of jurists that is ijma'. In addition to the previous proof, both traditional and modern Islamic legal scholars agree that the uruf is a crucial source for Islamic law. They have not complained to the uruf function in resolving issues arising under Islamic law. This is evident in the historical and contemporary fiqh literature, where the jurists have used uruf to address a number of fiqh related to issues. This will be presented by my colleague, that is Aiman.
Okay, I'm going to continue. So, I'm going to present about the difference between uruf and ada. So, the Arabic word ada comes from the root ada, which means to repeat or to return. It alludes to a routine or an ongoing practice. Uruf and ada are frequently used interchangeably by ulama who considered them to be one word. Ada divide between them, insisting that ada can be referred to both individuals and communities and significance, recurrence or recurrence behavior. For instance, we call a person's own ada their habits, but we don't use the words uruf in this context. Rather, we prefer to people's personal behavior as their uruf. The term uruf is typically used to refer to a large group of people practicing together. It is not uruf to follow the customs of a tiny minority within a large community. The word uruf is typically used to refer a large group of people practicing together. Finally, it might be claimed that the two terms are not clearly distinct from one another. So, application of uruf in Islamic law. The Hanafi and Maliki mazhab use uruf as source of law, which was outside the purview of the scriptures. And next, traditions are examples of muamalah or relations of interest that have precise and have come to be accepted in society. According to Usul Fiqh, which is derived from the substance of the Prophet Muhammad's statements, this is regarded as one of the source of law, which is us. The scholars who state that uruf is the one of the source of the legal istinbat stipulate that uruf can be an argument if there is no text from Al-Quran and Sunnah, which is hadith. Ulama also agreed that the form of uruf which is accepted for its application is uruf sahih and a general scope that has been in the effect from time to the companions to the next generations, which does not contradict the text of the Shari'ah and without ignoring universal basic rules. On the other hand, Al-Zarqa defines uruf as the conduct of a group of people in their sayings or doings, or repeated acts that are acceptable to those of sound nature. Khalaf described uruf as what individuals establish and practice through their speakings and doings or not doing. And the other definition of uruf is offered by Badran, who described it as what is established and typically among a group of people which is jumhur from their sayings and doings and is continuously repeated until it have an effect on them and afterwards accepted by their reason. So we move to legal maxims under uruf. This in his well-known works, which is what is shown by the uruf similar that which is established by Sharia proof. Shafi'i jurist or Suyuti codified these legal maxims. These legal maxims which assert that custom, whether broad or precise, is enforceable and serve as the foundation and court judgments. Is also reported by Hanafi jurist, which is Al-Sarakhsi, and was later acknowledged in the Ottoman Majalah. So as a result, jurists have produced various legal maxims in fiqh that explain the function of uruf that may impart the judgment on the specific topic. However, Al-Suyuti, Ibn Nujaym, and Al-Zarqa see the maxims, which is Al-Ada Muhakkamah, as a basic maxims, with all other maxims pertaining to uruf regard as branch of this main maxim. These branches represent many types of uruf as well as the requirements for a lawful uruf.
Okay, in conclusion, in summary of uruf, is that uruf is known throughout the society and it has become a tradition. Okay, it has become a tradition, whether in a form of words, deeds, or state of living. Okay. According to Yusuf Qardawi, uruf is something that has become a tradition and norm in people's life, so that they can know him well and get get used to it, both in the form of words, deeds, and general and special. So this shows that in Islamic Sharia, it is destined to continue forever, and it will follow the rules and principles that should be applicable and practicable for every generation. And thus, a large portion of Islamic financial, social, and martial injunction are based solely on custom and usage. So that is all from us. I hope you guys learned something. Thank you for listening.
Please stop a car at all.